Don't do that. Demo gods, right? I forgot my ritual.
Still some mushroom pizza if anybody's interested.
Cheese and mushroom?
That wasn't a joke, because nobody is.
Okay. All right. Pull up that. Let's show them the macro first. Okay. Okay. So I didn't really cover this, but we have to try really hard to actually get these emails into the environment, and I'm not going to really go into that because it's kind of the more devious and malicious side of this. So if you're really interested, by all means, look into that on your own time. But we have to do a few tricks to kind of get these types of documents into environments. A lot of them actually, they'll strip the macro out of Word documents with sophisticated appliances when emailing them. So in that case, this attack vector wouldn't work. We'd have to try a different form of exploitation. So here you can see, kind of scroll all the way over, call shell on the auto open. So right away we're gonna use the call shell command in VB, and we're using the full system path for, was it x64-bit? Yeah. So there's kind of some nuances here with which version of PowerShell to call based on the platform. So we just give it the full path, so it's going to use the right one, just for the sake of demonstration. And we're calling PowerShell. We have all these flags in here. We get over to the fun part. New object net.let client. That's kind of like wget is the closest thing I would say. It's like wget, but in Windows. And what we do there is we're hosting our fancy PowerShell script that's got our payload in there, and we're going to download that into memory, and that semicolon there executes it. So we're going to download it and run it right away. So it's running probably already, isn't it?
No, I didn't know the listener.
Oh yeah. So what we're going to do now is kind of show you how that works on the back end, right? So the user, when they open the Word document, they're going to see that picture of the really bad resume that you saw earlier. Maybe you'll have to enable content depending on their environment. So what he's doing right here is he's in Metasploit. We're just setting up a simple handler. You already have one running. No, it's not running. Demo, yeah. All right. The other thing, either there or maybe check processes or something else is corrupted. Run in. So if you guys haven't seen Metasploit before, this is kind of your crash course. This is as much as we're going to show you, really.
Don't mess with GUIs either. Just use the console.
Use the console. No arbitrage. You guys have heard of arbitrage. Don't mess with that. Stick to the console. We're using this less and less. Like I said, some of it's still useful, but we find a lot of it is really just more noisy.
Yeah, you gotta be careful when you're using tools, especially like Metasploit. There's obviously a lot of functionality. What you'll find is, especially for some of the automated scanners that are built into Metasploit, so they'll auxiliary scanners to search for random, vulnerable services. What'll happen is when Metasploit and other automated tools, when they scan like that, for the web, for example, the user agent, it will say Metasploit, or one tool, SQL map, which is for identifying and automating the exploitation of SQL injection. The user agent, the web server, what it sees is SQL map as the user agent, and any IDS IPS is going to pick up on that instantly. So you'll get red flags.
So on the back end, we have our exploitation server running with our handler, ready to catch our reverse shell, and we blasted this email across the environment, and now we're just waiting to get as many shells as possible. So one user decides to open this up and run the macro. Yay for us. What what happens on the other end, Brian? What do we got here? Oh, look at that. Interpreter session 1. Good for us. So this is our reverse shell interface that's really common in Metasploit. It's really common. You guys can go download Kemp and play around with this in a lab environment.
Do something really dangerous like IP conversion.
So you got NUID. Yeah, that's kind of cool.
We can escalate. We can use the UIC 5x.
Yeah, let's get system, huh? That sound fun? Let's get system.
Stop patronizing.
Own it, yeah. Just own it. So, for those of you guys who are still not fully familiar with Metasploit, they have all these little exploits in place. So, we've already got a session running. These are called modules. So, what Brian's here, he's searching for the right module to use, and then he's gonna run it. But
Dude, you're out of your session.
I dropped that so I can get back into it. Let's see you guys.
you just backgrounded it, right?
Yeah.
He's got it, dude. I don't know.
Yep.
Yep. So what we're doing here is we've chosen our exploit that we want to run. We're setting it to use the current session that we have on the victim machine, and go ahead and type exploit. It's pretty cool, right? Exploit the goes.
So now we have local admin.
Yeah. So now we have local admin privileges. So yeah, what's your UID?
I think
NT authority system. So we're system. God node. Let's dump hashes.
we have to migrate to WinLog.
Thank you. Yeah. So cool thing. Well, a new thing in Metasploit, your process is kind of finicky. So what we have to do is we have to migrate to a stable Windows process that's running a system. So Brian's gonna pick a good one here.
What's that 456?
Oh, we're in WinLog on.
We're in it. Oh, cool. So we're good. All right.
Why'd you choose 456?
That was the
Process ID?
yeah, that was the PID WinLog on.
When log on runs the system, in case you guys didn't know that. It's probably listed up there, but so that's a good one we want to go into. Cool, hash dump. Pretty easy, right? So you can see how fast we churn through this process. A lot of companies have disabled, local administrator accounts and that sort of thing, but we still find this. And this is like when Ian said, GA by lunch, he wasn't kidding. You can see how fast we use this. You find a similar vulnerability. Once you have that shell, it doesn't take us long to start churning through the environment and mapping it out and getting that domain level access. So here we see administrator, that 500, that's your RIG 500, that's the account we care about. That's the one we're going to pass around and try out on other machines. So, any questions on this stuff?
This was a fully patched box too.
Well, yeah, so this is fully patched, by the way. Fully patched 2012 R2. So, and if you had, I believe, in this scenario, I cannot definitively say if AV would have caught us or not.
It depends on the solution by default.
Depends on the solution.
The payload is base64 encoded, and then it decodes it in memory and then loads it in memory.
Yeah. So we're not going to go into the PowerShell script payload. That's just kind of more the devious side of this. If you guys are interested in penetration testing and more of that, feel free to come down and talk to us about it, and we can kind of elaborate a bit on some of our other tools and techniques that we like to use. But from a risk standpoint, we really won't go into that with our talk here.
Yeah. Can any of you name one other security technology or control that may have detected this besides AV? I'm speaking specifically around the shell that he got. There's another way that this very likely would have been picked up if he did it. So what was the shell you used? Was it reverse HTTP?
I use reverse HTTP and TCP.
Okay. So both of those protocols are in clear text. So when we do pen tests, we primarily do our shells over an encrypted protocol. So HTTPS likely would have been a better choice. Reason being, if you have intrusion detection or prevention on the network, and if they see that reverse shell going back to our systems, so HTTP, they can actually see that traffic, unless they're breaking SSL, and they can do it HTTPS as well. But they would see that, and it would catch on signatures. Like we said, all these Metasploit, modules and exploits are all in your IDS, IPS, and AV, all signature based. So it would have caught it there as well.
Yeah, that's a good point to bring up, Ian. Another quick question: what other protocols or ports would be useful for us to catch a shell over the internet? We wanted to make sure our traffic could get out of the environment. So you mentioned HTTP. What others do you think that a company would allow outbound?
Email.
Email. Okay.
53 units.
53 DNS. Perfect.
53 is my
53 is a go-to. It's always going out. So.
And your SOC analysts will always ignore DNS because nobody understands how it works.
So with that, how often do you see an environment where like it's locked down to the point where all they can do is talk to a proxy server for their web traffic, and they can't actually go outbound to. They can't actually go out to the world on port 80. They got to go locally.
Almost always they have to go through the proxy.
So
Does the shell work through there? That
So,
doesn't.
Yes. So it depends. So I'll give you two answers. One, a lot of our clients will attempt to restrict all access out except for like 8443 common ports. And whenever they're using those ports, it's forced through a proxy or some control point.
Okay.
Yeah. That being said, when we do these exercises, one of the things we'll do, we'll set up a box on the outside, we'll scan from the inside, and we'll try to identify all the ports that are available out. And a lot of times we'll find ports that are able to get out that they didn't know about.
Oh, okay.
So that's also true. And then we've had clients, I'm talking major Fortune 500 companies, we start scanning to see which ports we can use to exfiltrate data. We've already got DA, we've already dominated some databases, we're ready to do proof of concept on shipping data out. We'll find out that like Windows services are exposed to the internet, where they have entire segments of Windows workstations that are on publicly routable addresses with 135, 137, 139, 445, everything open. So it's both ways.
But as a general business practice, do you see a lot of businesses moving towards like that really strict outbound like firewall rules, or is that too restrictive for IT to function and move?
I say everybody should.
Everybody should.
I think everyone should, but yeah.
You should have mature enough supporting processes, and you should know your traffic and your user activity well enough. If you can't do that, then no, it's a terrible idea to be that restrictive because you're going to interrupt business.
Yeah.
So only our most mature clients would actually recommend that to. But if you look at like your future state, your roadmap, what does a world-class organization do? Absolutely. You should know your traffic, know your baselines, know your users, and then model your architecture and match.
Yep. And so part of that, where Ian's talking about, is we get brought into these strategy pieces where they might have these processes in place, and so yeah, we want to be able to lock down all this outbound traffic. How do we give them the support they need to get there? And that takes a lot of effort. So it's not an easygoing process, but it takes buy-in from other individuals and the firm to kind of get behind it and say, okay, yeah, that's something we want to move towards, and then we can plan for that. But I guess this is really all we had from a demo standpoint. So we'll leave it up to you guys to answer any other questions that you have. But otherwise, that's all we got. So any questions for us? You can, all four of us. We have Ian here who's done a lot of compliance related work. Ian and I have done a bunch of pen tests and breach stuff. You can talk about Brian is very new to the firm, so you can talk to him about kind of how the hiring process went, what training was like, that sort of thing. So any questions for us?
Have cloud deployments changed your strategies for pen testing at all?
Yes. So cloud deployments really complicate our pen testing, right? So from one standpoint, we have to get not only approval from the firm that's hiring us, we have to get third-party approval from the cloud hosting provider. So let's say it's Rackspace. we have to absolutely go through the full due diligence process. So since Rackspace owns that infrastructure, we have to have their express written permission to test that. And in those typically in those cases, what we end up doing is we proxy our testing through the client's environment. So we'll go on site to the client and we'll be testing from there. So we're hitting them from their IPs. There's whitelisting in place, all of those controls. So it definitely complicates matters from a testing standpoint. Good question. Anyone else?
Out of curiosity, from a security standpoint, is doing something in the cloud a lot less idea or maybe some other server like that?
I think this one's kind of it's one of those it depends, right? So if you're starting out in the cloud, it's a simple process, right? You're used to it. You still have to organize and run the infrastructure essentially the same way, except the data center is not yours, so to say. Um, you're dealing with more of you have additional risks from is the hosting shared, and if there's let's say there's vulnerabilities in the hypervisor environment or something like that where they're able to break out of VMs, that's a big issue, right? So let's say for some reason there was some AWS, Amazon, vulnerability where I was able to break out of the VM and gain access to others in the hosting environment. There's nothing that your security measures, really could do for that because you're not in control. So I guess that's the additional risk of cloud. The advantages come from the simplification behind it, though, right? There's less. You don't have to worry about securing those facilities, right? You don't have to pay for those facilities, so to say. Anything to add there, Ian? I think that's pretty much.
Oh, that's it.
Okay. That's a good question as well. Any others? I know you guys got some back there.
How much value do you think like a CISSP certification has?
That's a good one. So typically, CISSP for those of you who don't know, it's like it's about it's a mile wide and an inch deep is the way most people describe, right? So it covers 10 domains of security, and it doesn't go into tremendous detail in those. Now at PwC, we essentially require everyone by the time they hit manager, roughly, or right after they hit manager, to go for their CISSP. That's because it's a very recognized credential. So from that standpoint, what is the value? It's good. You're recognized as a security professional. Now, right away on your first year on the job, you're not going to technically be able to go for a CISSP because it requires 5 years of experience. So from that value standpoint, it's really something you won't need to pursue until further into your security career. It's definitely just something that everyone does just to say, hey, I'm in it. Typically, from a penetration testing standpoint, if you guys have interest in that field, typically we're doing a big push right now for the OSCP. If you guys are familiar with offensive security, they're the big sponsor of Cali and whatnot, and we're pushing for their offensive security certified professional. I believe that's all it stands for, right? Yeah, we're pushing for that cert, and the good thing about that one is it's cheap comparatively. It's $800, which is cheap for a professional cert. And the cool thing about that is it's a practical certification. So instead of a proctored, book exam, you're given the cert based on a lab practical. So you're put into a lab environment over VPN, and you're demonstrating your ability to exploit vulnerabilities, map environments, use Kali Linux, and then provide a documented report on all of that. And so it's a very practical approach to getting a certification. So that's kind of what we're pushing towards our newer penetration testers at the firm.
Yeah, so he mentioned the experience requirement of 5 years for the CISSP. There is like the little brother to the CISSP. I forgot. It's SCCP, I think is what it is. Is the little brother one, requires 2 years experience. Also, what I did before joining the firm is CompTIA has their Security Plus. A lot of people will laugh at the Security Plus, but honestly, for those areas that you're not super strong in, me personally, I wasn't very strong in cryptography. disaster recovery, business continuity stuff, just things I hadn't really dealt with that much. It really helped strengthen those gaps for me, and I was a lot more confident on the job. And I mean, coming into like new hire training, those that didn't have that background, like I blew them out of the water. So although a lot of people make fun of it, it really helped me out and boosted me. So if you guys are looking to kind of bridge that gap between the bigger certs, I recommend it.
What was that called again?
The Security Plus, and then the vendor, the company that does that is CompTIA, CompTIA. They do a ton. So it used to be great. CompTIA, all their certs used to be lifelong. So they have like their Network Plus, Server Plus, A Plus for hardware and operating systems. You certify, it's good for life. They don't do that anymore. You still have like your CPE requirements, or you have to recertify like every 3 years now. I let mine expire, so I'm going for the IASG next, but it's good stuff.
Great question. Anyone else?
How do you see business going? Is security consulting, is it increasing, is it decreasing?
This is good. We are growing, growing, growing. It's a big swing. Ian, you want to talk a bit about that? I think you handled it up there.
Yeah.
We're on a big push.
It's huge. So we just heard, I won't go into details, and I can only speak from a PwC's perspective. Obviously, I think anybody that says security is going to decline in the next 5 years is probably an idiot. Because security, like one of the biggest drivers now, security historically, the last 20 years, since the birth of the internet, security has always been seen as a cost center for the business. It's never been a profit driver. And now it's finally, the awareness, especially at that leadership level, so your CEO, CFO, CIO, it's finally getting recognition where everybody sees these big profile breaches like Target, Home Depot, Dairy Queen, whatever it is.
Actually, Madison.
Check yourself. Nobody wants to be on the news for the next big breach, so that type of awareness is driving a lot of that. So now they're seeing it as not just a cost to the business, they're seeing it as a major, major risk reduction and a necessity. There's also a lot of legislation that's in the works that, for better or for worse, will require companies to do more with information security. So I think it's growing leaps and bounds. From a PwC perspective, our hiring is off the charts. We literally can't get enough people. I was harassing people at the last business career fair just to come talk to us. We literally left the career fair with unfilled positions. So we're hiring like crazy. Just from a revenue perspective for security, and this is nationally with the US, we're shooting for like, it's something, don't quote me on this, but it's something ridiculous, like 50% growth every year, which is just insane. So super, super aggressive goals, and we're hitting them. And that's not just PwC, that's across the board. You look at, I can speak to a PwC perspective, but you look at the other big 4 consulting firms, Deloitte, I won't mention the others. Accenture is another big player. You also have your niche players like Mandiant. You guys are familiar with them. They do a lot more on the forensic breach response side. Most of the big high-profile breaches that you've heard of in the last few years, chances are Mandiant was involved in one of those. We have a ton of people that go from PwC to Mandiant, back and forth, and everybody's hiring like crazy right now. So for those of you that are interested in information security, which obviously you're sitting in this room because you are in the absolute best time of your lives to get a job in information security. Did they answer your question?
Anyone else?
And if you guys have questions you don't want to ask in front of a big group, we'll stick around after the talk. Or if you have more specific questions based on your degree, your background, whatever it is, come down and chat. Any questions? There's got to be one more. There's somebody out there that's been itching to ask a question.
That's how I'm feeling too.
Like, I put me on the spot.
What kind of experience do you look for in like interns?
There we go.
Awesome question.
There we go.
What are your majors?
I studied mechanical engineering at econ at Iowa State.
Okay. Yep. So computer E?
Nope.
MIS?
Management information.
Oh, I was MIS too.
Yep. Copy.
Yep. So a variety of backgrounds. So obviously the security field has a huge variety of services that not only PwC offers, but just in industry in total. For interns and full-time, pretty much any background you have may be well suited for a position at PwC. We have people, she's done a lot of like IT governance, compliance type work. that's not super technical. Pen testing, breach response stuff like Ben and I work on, that's more of the technical end of the spectrum. We do everything in between as well. Also, if anybody has a really heavy development background, you'd be a great fit for our identity and access management practice. On the core security side, which is what we're involved in, we don't do a lot of like hardcore development. If anything, it's maybe some scripting here or then, Perl, Python, shell scripting, basically just to automate tasks, make your life easier, like an IT admin would. But for the real developers, software engineers, our IDM practice could use a lot more Java developers.
I guess the other thing I point out is if you have a key skill that we find really valuable is if you have infrastructure experience, that's also really valuable. So like I got my start in networking. I worked for a networking team on my first internship, and that's proven invaluable. I mean, I use it all the time throughout all my projects. And for new hire training, I built the entire lab environment for that. So it's really similar to the CDC. Is what kind of what we do for our new hire as well. So you'd be surprised how much you draw on your background and where it can be applied.
This is kind of like new hires, but where are you guys' main offices around the country?
Every major city.
Yeah, pretty much. Everywhere but Iowa. We have PwC has an office there, but there's not a security practice there, which is a bummer. But the big ones off the top of my head: Minneapolis, Atlanta, Philly, New York, Chicago, Dallas, Houston, LA, San Francisco, Boston. Seattle is growing a ton. Yeah, Seattle used to be really small. They're growing a lot. All of you, nothing is acceptable except for Minneapolis.
Don't work with us. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But no. So one of the great things about coming down to Iowa State is you guys are in such close proximity to the Minneapolis office. It's just a 3.5 hour drive for us. So the great news is we usually get to pluck all the talent first.
Yep.
And then everybody else. I'm just kidding.
Chicago's great.
I'm just kidding. I will say, so up until the last 2 years, Iowa State was not a national recruiting school for PwC. You guys are now a national recruiting school, which means, one, you guys get cooler swag when we come on campus. You guys get t-shirts and stuff now instead of just pens or whatever you're doing before. That also means that you guys have a higher likelihood of getting placed in a market that you actually desire. So, as big of a surprise it is to me, some people don't want to come and endure Minneapolis winters. So, Nate, the guy that was interested before, he's going down to Dallas. So, we can place you in other markets. Although, I will say, the Minneapolis security is pretty awesome.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun. With that, I guess the last thing I'd like to mention is, so how many of you guys are competing on Saturday? Good, fair amount of you guys. How many of you guys are green team? Anyone? A couple people? Good. So, Brian and myself will be red teaming on Saturday, so hopefully we'll see you guys there. Hopefully, well, I wish you all luck.
He does all your tactics and everything, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, we looked a little bit at the scenario. Looks like a lot of web this year, so we're bringing down a ringer. We got a guy coming down. Is Suja office still here?
No, she dipped out early.
So we're bringing down a guy. He did his master's degree here at Iowa State, and I think his thesis in SQL injection. Yep. Yeah. So we got a good buddy coming down. So we should have a good time. Brian's familiar with the framework. I'm looking forward to attacking the Windows stuff if you have any. Should be a lot of fun. Other than that, I think that's all we have. If you have any other questions, feel free to talk to us. We'll hang around. So thanks a lot for coming.